waiting and entertain the people who are, first watching this in the first couple minutes, where
How do you know when it shows up? Like it'll
it'll
just
go red around your name.
Oh, I think you told me that once before. Hey, look, 3, 2, 1. What?
Hey,
It's gonna
it
go
actually
live on here
worked.
first.
Seriously?
But look, it's not showing live on here.
Oh my gosh. We have to check this.
Oh, now it does.
Wait, we have to check it. Oh, there we go. Okay, so we have to check it because yesterday we went live and it was a blue screen, nothing else. No sound, no picture, no anything. So there we are. We're here. It's Thursday.
Look at that.
Oh my gosh. I just realized the color and the thing.
The what?
I just love our bright colors today.
Oh, yes.
It's so fun.
It's a bright color day. Haven't been feeling very bright. And so today I was like, I feel better and I want to show it in all that I do.
Show it.
Show it.
Show. Oh,
show it.
It sounds like shoe it. Like I'm going to shoe it into the everyday of my life.
Shoot it in there too. Earlier I was wearing bright yellow.
Like neon, pickleball.
And underneath
yellow.
That was like lots of brightness because I had on the Spitfire Ultra t-shirt.
Right. If you haven't seen that, it's super fun. And if you want to check it out, we have a lot of small sizes still left that you can purchase. So
of t-shirts, that is.
T-shirt. And sweatshirts.
Oh, and sweatshirts?
And sweatshirts.
Cool. I honestly, I'd purchase them.
They're super fun. So welcome. It's Thursday, Creative Unraveling Paintcast with Leah, spelled Ligia, and
Jennifer, spelled JJ.
See, my childhood nickname was Yee.
Yee?
Yeah, like G-I-G-I
Mine
or
was
Gigi.
JJ.
Isn't that funny?
JJ.
I tried to go with that nickname, but it just
doesn't fit you.
No, it did. It's because my brother after me, he couldn't say Ligia, so he would just call me
Ligia. I can barely say it, and I'm an adult.
Ligia.
You have to slur your like words together. Ligia.
It sounds so funny when other people say it, so I just go by Leah, spelled Ligia. But that's where that came from. Anyways, so
it's Thursday.
Yeah, it's Thursday, my most favorite day of the week.
I love that we get to say Paintcast.
Yeah,
because that's super fun.
That came through like at the November retreat. I'm like, it's not a podcast, but we talk about things and we do some painting, so it's a paintcast.
It's a paintcast.
So, I've loved that we've moved that verbiage, terminology, renamed it, whatever. Anyways, so Thursdays is all about getting the paintbrushes out, some watercolors, watching Jen squirm as I take you through a painting exercise, and it gives you space.
Why do you take such pleasure in watching me squirm? Why am I squirming?
Why are you squirming?
I'm typically squirming because this still makes me uncomfortable. Although I'm getting better at it. Go watch last week's Paintcast for we painted koi fish. And in the end, at the beginning, they didn't look like koi fish. And you can go watch it to figure out what they started looking at.
Kind of like swimmers.
Like swimmers. But it ended up actually looking like pretty good koi fish. Yeah. So, but what happens is Leah does the thing and I get to talk out the pieces of like perfectionism or judgment that want to hang out still in my system, and learn how to feel my way through it and do it live and talk it out and give space for you to do the same thing and recognize that it's not about like having the perfect picture that I see in my mind, although I would like that. The reality is I don't sit down enough and take the time to practice to get it there. But I have a lot of other things that I enjoy and I enjoy doing and building and growing. And this is just a fun practice for me, mostly fun practice for me, because it is something that I don't do often. And it does create some discomfort in different ways and just allows me to look at it and move through it in I want to say fun ways, but just different ways.
Different ways. Well, and
It allows me to see with a different perspective.
Absolutely. And it gives you a chance to build awareness and like you say, you know, you do your running and you can overlay those lessons in your everyday life.
Absolutely.
You know, whether it's how to show up or consistency or like just time on your feet, you can practice that in a safe space where, you know, you just practice what that feeling looks like.
So why not do this here in sometimes what could feel like a not safe space, but actually that I know is a safe space, because I love how like I have a big appreciation for how she teaches, because it's what we do anyway, which is in Righteous Rebels is we just teach you how to listen to your own voice, how to listen to your own heart, and to paint what comes through you, and to let it be okay no matter what you're feeling, and to recognize what you're feeling, and to let it be okay, and recognize that it's just part of humanness. It's part of human experience, and it means nothing about you. It means you're feeling.
Love it. So if you want to join in today, all you need is a watercolor piece of paper.
Which is what kind? Like
it's I use cold press, 140 pound cold press watercolor paper. You know what?
Side matters, not size. Side matters.
Side?
Oh,
yes.
Of your paper.
You'll notice when you have your paper, there's a smoother side and a more coarse side. So we typically do the more coarse side up. You can experiment with the other side. Actually, hot press is more smooth.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So maybe we should
You've
play.
never talked about hot press before. You should do that in a different
one. Maybe we'll get some and practice with that just so we can see the. I feel like we need to do a field trip. So if you are curious about doing this, we can just post it to the pin it to the top of the group and be like, hey, this is your introduction, you know, so you have an idea of what to get and what to look for. And
all of a sudden I have an intense itch. I must be like, oh. I must be going to paint.
So today we were out, we're Stinking Springs.
Stinking Springs, also known as Sidewinder.
Yeah, and because we didn't really have a Tuesday adventure on Tuesday, like Jen said, she wasn't feeling super great. So we just did more like home-based stuff and decided to wait for a Tuesday adventure today, which I'm super grateful that we did because we got a gorgeous, like, can
it's
I
the first time
gorgeous?
We've seen blue sky in probably a week or more. I don't know.
Well, and it was like 50 degrees.
Was great.
It was gorgeous. It was just
the wind
amazing.
was pretty blowy up top, but it was only cold because our bodies were hot. And
I'm going to switch this over to this here and we can continue chatting about that. But
I love it.
Today I wanted on that trail, I saw a lot of cactus and different kinds of cactus. And so I thought it'd be fun to just do a simple cactus painting today.
Oh, I thought you were going to say cows. You saw a lot of cows.
Oh my God, the baby cows. Oh, and they do a little hop thing. And then the mama cow, the little hop thing.
They're adorable.
Oh my gosh. We saw probably, well, when we first started, we saw maybe about like 5 or 6 baby cows. And you know, you said the mama cow like grunted or something.
Oh yeah, they're like on the trail or right on the trail, and they protect the trail and their babies.
Yeah, I think that's one of the most fascinating things about being in Idaho is just how free the animals are, and they just go wander in big, wide open spaces, and I find that so fascinating because I haven't had that experience back in Canada, so. And that's just where I'm from. I'm more in a city-based area, but even in the farms, I haven't seen it the way I've seen it here. So
that's pretty cool. Open range.
Yeah, that. I'm just really going to do freehand today. We're going to start with the pot.
Okay, cool. No, that's cool.
That's cool. Freehand. So,
what kind of brush are you using?
I like the mop brushes. They're my favorite.
I have kind of what feels like a big ass mop brush. Is it going to be too big for what we're doing? There's those ones. You're holding out on the smaller mop brushes?
We were just having a conversation about my brush, your brush, and blah, blah, blah. So whatever. I'm going to go with a purple pot for mine. And it's just going to be nice and easy and keep it simple.
A really cool blue.
And I'm just going to draw an edge and then another edge.
And you're doing this dry today, correct?
Yeah. I can fill it in after.
Okay, wait, how do you get the dark? You have a dark edge that moves to a lighter one. How do you do that?
I have a different, I decided to go in with this brush.
She tells me she's using a mop brush and then she uses
but then
a different
I saw
brush.
this brush and I was like, oh, maybe I should use that.
Lady.
So this can be however it could be tapered. It could be, literally anything you want. The whole point is
I just did a round bottom. I
edges.
wouldn't do a round bottom though. It won't sit flat on the floor.
No, maybe not.
But it might in your painting. I don't know.
Well, whatever. Let's see. It's all good. I'm going to mix in some blue here. It feels too strong, so I'm just going to add some water, some more purple. And then I'm going to switch my mop brush, sorry. And just to kind of get a wash going. I'm going to go in with this a little bit after when it dries. No, that's not true. I lied. So I'm noticing my paint wanting to flick and splatter.
Oh.
So I decided to just let it splatter. Yeah, the pot can be any color, any shape, any size. Like it's yours. Just do what feels good for you. I really don't like telling people what to do because I am not a fan of being told what to do. Even when I was learning, I would always find myself getting frustrated with paint tutorials, and I would just kind of see what they're doing and be like, whatever, I'm going to figure this out on my own. And that's just kind of how I've done it. Because I don't get it how they're teaching it, so I can't profess to be teaching you anything other than showing up and saying this is how I do it and this is what works for me. But you see what happens. Oh, that's cool.
I hope so, because that's what happened. It's nothing like I envisioned, but
That's cool. I love it. So I'm just gonna go while it's still wet on the edge, around my pot, just to give it, like imagine the sun is shining, or your light source, wherever that's shining, you want to keep that light, and then your sides or wherever it's. So mine's going to be more centered where the light's shining, and I'm gonna.
I have no idea what you just said.
So making it just darker around the edges is really all I'm doing.
Oh.
So imagine you have like a light shining on something. It's going to be lighter where the light's shining and then be darker where the light isn't. So maybe,
gosh, I don't know how you do that.
I don't know. But when we were on the trail, it was super fun. We saw the cows. I was having tantrums going up the mountain just because I was tired and I wasn't sure I really wanted to do the thing, and my body was just like not cooperating and blah blah blah. But once
let's be real. Those mornings when you wake up cranky and you don't. Sometimes you know why, or sometimes you don't know why.
Yeah. So it's kind of like that. So I'm gonna let this dry. But it was super cool. We ended up, what's it called? There's a spot where bushwhacked. We bushwhacked to the top of this one mountain. And
how? Okay, what? Sorry. How do you get the color to see? I'm doing it and it's like fading it away.
Okay.
When I'm trying to do the edges. Oh wait, so maybe that'll work.
If you want it lighter in the middle, you can just take another way you could do it is take your paper towel and just, if I've made the whole thing too dark, for example, I do this and I'm like, oh shoot, I want something lighter so it looks like it has a shape and it's not just, a dark blob there. So I can take my paper towel and kind of dab it there. Actually, I kind of like that better.
Okay, I just was curious because when I was putting it on, it was I think I just needed more color. That's one thing that I noticed that Leah just in the paint, and I'm a little more hesitant that way. I think I just need more of the actual color on my brush before I.
Yeah. I'm really not sure how other watercolorists do it. I just know what works for me and what makes my heart happy, and I kind of go with that.
I think I'm gonna leave it like that.
There you go. I like the two-tone to it.
Yeah. Do you like how it blood hit the? That's okay.
That's totally
We're
cool.
good. Okay.
So I'm just gonna let that dry. Here it's kind of neat. This was totally by accident, but this is what I love about watercolors. It's made kind of a shadow here. If you notice, that was just the purple bleeding into the other one. But when I look at it on the camera, it looks kind of like a shadow, which is super funky.
That does look cool. Okay, I interrupted you with my oh my gosh, this isn't feeling right. What were you saying about? Were we talking about mud? Were we talking about not feeling good and getting out there
just
and doing
not. We ended up going up the big hills, and there's a spot up there that people have stacked. It's kind of like the Moana stone. If you've seen the movie Moana, all the people have put a stone on top of the other, so it's kind of like that up on that hill, and I find it so cool.
It's a ginormous like Karen or sheep herder's marker kind of.
Yeah, and it took a bit to get up there, almost an hour by the time we got up there, and I just noticed how much better I felt in my body. My eyes didn't burn, and I just felt like joy. I just felt joyful that we got out there and we were doing the thing, and then
it's not easy. It's not an easy trail.
But it's overtaken by the beauty and the vastness of it all. It's just fascinating. And just going up the hill, I saw lots of these cute little cactuses, and we found flowers, or it was just super fun. I think that one of the funnest parts of going out today, something I love about hanging out with Jen, is that my inner 5 or 10-year-old gets to come out and play often and do stuff that I've always wanted to do, but I'm a mom, and moms have to be the example, and you don't want to get dirty, and that's going to make more work for you, and brr, 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 or it's just all this concern about doing it right or doing it clean, or why would we do, and I love that Jen took me today up the
we went the
trail.
Extra miles, literally
up the what would you call that? It was this little runoff trail. There was a runoff, a consistent runoff.
It's an actual trail, but because there's still snow up there. It's happy days. We love it, Susan. There's still runoff, and so it's coming down the trail steep, and so in the center of the trail, or sometimes to the side, is just this constant flow. It's probably 5 or 6 inches, and just flowing down the mountain like chocolate soup.
So muddy, and we saw this guy, and he's slipping and sliding, and we're slipping and sliding because we're on either side of the stinking trail.
Trail's it's curved.
What would you call that? The runoff? The runoff stream?
Yeah.
So we're avoiding the runoff stream. In my head, I'm thinking, because it's going to be even more muddy. It's going to be more harder to navigate that. But you're moving slow, and I'm determined. I want to get to the top. I want to see what's at the top.
Well, and a lot of times the dirt on that trail can be floofy, so puffy, and so with the water and the runoff, it's just thick, slimy mud, and in places literally like chocolate soup.
Yeah. So I biffed it a few times. And at one point I was already wet and dirty and laughing, and I'm whatever, I'm going to my feet are already wet. I think I was trying to stay clean.
Find another way to actually get up, because you're slipping. There's no traction.
Yeah. And it's hilarious. We're going up this trail, and then I'm whatever, my feet are already wet. I'm just gonna go up the stream. And oh my gosh, it was so much easier. Like it was rocky and solid and you weren't slipping. And then the next thing I'm like, yeah, here I go.
Even though you're moving through the water, like the
Yeah.
actual, it just was more solid
Oh my gosh.
and a whole lot less slippage.
Yeah, it was amazing. I'm letting this dry because if I start doing the things, it's just going to bleed out there, and it's a great way to share our adventures in the hills today. But I think one of the coolest things,
Like, so as we got up a little bit, like, well, and just the lesson of like sometimes you just got to go through it. Like most times you just got to go through it. You can't avoid it. You just got to go.
you're trying to go around it and find an easier way, but yeah, that was the lesson. Definitely have to go through it. But we met I heard talking as I'm moving up this hill, and I'm like, I hear a conversation and I see this person like bundled to the nines.
Yeah,
like full hat,
cat, and a big fleece underneath that, and big puffer coat, and yeah, she was, and she had a big backpack on, like she was.
But she
had
had
sticks,
like a
big
podcast
gloves
going on, and that was the conversation I was hearing, and we had the most amazing conversation with this lady. We talked
Her
for
name's
like
Giselle.
Yeah, Giselle. She's from France. She was so fun to talk to, and it was like a little God wink of like, we weren't gonna go up that far. We weren't gonna go up that trail. I didn't know we were gonna do that, and then suddenly we were doing this, and we're meeting this amazing soul, and we realized she loves Dr. Pepper. We're like, we should hike together sometime.
I told her, I'm like, we should be friends. And then she gave us all the reasons why that might not be a good idea. And she threw Dr. Pepper, and then I'm like, now we must be friends. I mean, it's so interesting. She's out there doing the thing and doing it in incredible ways and by herself. And she's like bushwhacking all these mountains and hills.
She saw a moose.
Yeah. And she's like, I just turned 69.
Right.
Like, I'm thinking that's what I want to be like at your age.
Yes.
Out doing the thing. And she's telling us about other adventures and things that she's done. And so then we're like, we want to be your friend.
Yeah.
And we're like, can we take a picture with you? Can we get your contact information? And she's like, then it's interesting how the mind kicks in, and she starts giving us all the reasons why she might not be the very best adventure buddy, because she gave us lots of reasons, and we're like, we don't care. Like if we're contacting you to hike with you, it's because we want to be with you.
Yeah.
and to be together. And she's like, hey, if you don't care if I'm slow and I drink Dr. Pepper, I'm like, I'm in. I love Dr. Pepper.
That was super fun.
So it's really, that really for me is one of the coolest things about being out and adventuring like that is you really meet amazing people.
Yeah. It was just fun. It was such an incredible experience, and going, farther up the mountain.
Here was the other cool part is, one of the things that we do obviously is help people bring their dreams to life, like get their creativity out of them. And so we started sharing with this lady, like, hey, you should tell your story. And it's what we do for part of our work. And what we do is help you tell your story. And then she's like, oh, that's like, there's no coincidence that we met today. And she goes, you guys have no idea. I grew up in an orphanage. This is what I look like. I was like,
what?
And she's telling us a little bit more about that experience and story. And that's how it ended. Then she's like, hey, have a good rest of your day.
It's so incredible.
Totally left me wanting more. So,
right? It was super fun.
Giselle, we will meet again.
Yes, absolutely.
With Dr. Pepper.
With Dr. Pepper. So mine's kind of dry, and it's going to be
probably
okay
dry
if it's
enough.
not. So I'm going to bring it back to the stream.
Yay!
So all we're going to do...
Are you going back to a flat brush? Or okay.
I'm doing a mop because we're just doing blobs.
Oh.
Blobs that connect to other blobs. So in this one, I'm going to wet my brush and not have color, but just kind of give... I don't know what shape you call that.
I see. It's a blob.
It's a blob shape.
It's an elongated blob.
Yeah. And then I'm just gonna grab some green. It can be kind of bluey.
Oh, pooey.
No, that's good. That'll give it dimension. It's
It totally will.
That's the thing. Like, it'll just look cool no matter what. I
kind of like that green. I'm gonna share it.
There we go. So do like
dang blob. It! I didn't fill the whole thing in.
That's okay. And then I'm gonna make like another blob that goes off that blob because cactuses like to do that.
I can tell that my paper has a bubble in it because it picked up the bubble under the tablecloth.
Yeah. So I like to just go with a different color or a more saturated color and just do a side of it to give it some shape.
Okay, gotcha.
And I'm like, I should do another blob.
Did you wet that blob?
This one, I just kind of had a wet paintbrush and I kind of just went with it. So I just did that. And this one's just going to have, I'm going to make a heart shape just because I can. Why not? And you can extend your blob if it's not blobby enough.
Boy.
Oh, see, that's, you're good. Totally good. It's really, you know, like on this trail, you said it's not about a time. It's not about, you know, it's not about metrics. It's just about showing up and doing the thing. Time on your feet, time outside, just being in the element. And you get to just be in this element no matter. This is just a piece of paper. Let me remind you in case you need that reminder. It's just a piece of paper. It says nothing about you and your abilities or your potential or anything. It's just a piece of paper, and you can always do it again if you want to. And if you don't, you tried something new and you learned something. Even if you'd never pick it up again, like, it's all okay. I'm going to take a darker color. So darker meaning I just added blue to my green. And then I'm just going to make a loose line. Give my cactus kind of like edges. I was getting memories. It was, I think, about 3 years ago today that I did my, it's a desert scene mural. And just how.
When you say you're giving it edges, what does that mean?
Yours looks pretty wet, but you can go
like it's pool. Like there's a big bubble right here.
Well, you can take that and suck it up, or all I mean is like taking the darker color and then taking the edge of my brush and just kind of making a line.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Or just going around the edges.
Yeah. Okay, gotcha. Yep. Nope. That's that was a fail.
And then because I can and I want to, I'm just going to do a cute little flower. This is going to be a blooming. So here I'm just mixing a little bit of red in the orange that's already there. And I'm just going to take the very edge of my brush and just put little dots there. Like it's flowering. And maybe here too. Just because I can. Here we go. You can go in after it's dry and put the little porcupine-y things. You can embellish the pot and, you know, make cute little lines on it. You can wait till it's dry and then add some more lines. It might need to just dry for a minute before it'll pick up any more paint because it seems pretty wet.
It's just sucking it up.
So yeah, that like seriously, the adventure we had today was like soul filling and fun, and my inner, I'm not even gonna say 5-year-old because sometimes 5-year-olds are whiny when they're out in the elements that way, but I'm gonna say like my inner maybe 9-year-old was like super into the adventure we had today and just had fun. Like it was, for me, it was such a challenge to just that's cool, Jen. I love what you're doing right there. So what Jen's doing that you don't see is she sees puddles in her painting and she's taking a dryer brush and pulling the paint from her painting. So this is a dry brush. That's another technique, and it's a way to like bring in these are called highlights, and you can add depth that way or remove excess paint, or just if you give yourself the space, you already know what to do. Like it's like what I was saying to you on the trail today. It's like it's amazing how our bodies just know how to do the things when we put them in those situations, because we're coming down the hill faster.
I had you in a situation where our bodies were like almost a little bit in freak out mode as far as like all the proprioceptive muscles and stability muscles and things having to keep us upright, because there was a lot of like, there were many times I saw Leah like slide down a hill, like her body sideways, but it catches and uprights her before she hits the ground. And seriously, I had moments of sliding down a hill and I can feel myself like way backwards and I've got one leg in the air, but our bodies just, so I love that you're bringing that up. Like, but we've got to put ourselves in those situations, and it's also okay if you fall.
Yeah.
And you just laugh. And you know what? At one point, Leah had talked about this too, and I've done this in other places, but I fell, but I didn't hit the ground. My hand did, and it was totally muddy. And I'm like, why not? So I just put it on like warrior paint, and just it's the learning how to be out in the elements and having fun with it and recognizing that it's us. And
well, I think we just learn to forget to trust ourselves. We don't practice trusting ourselves, so we stop doing things, or we become more fearful of doing things, or we look for every reason to not be in the discomfort of, I actually don't trust my body. It's not that I don't want to do that. It's more, I just don't trust myself to do it and be okay doing it,
Yeah.
Even when we're painting.
And I'm guilty of that. Like,
sure.
Even in the last few years, my trail running and running has taken a bit of a back seat. And it's interesting to watch how my own tentativeness on some things wanting to show up. And so it's just part of the game and learning to be okay with it. And I have moments where I'm more okay with it than others.
Yeah. Because we talk a lot about vulnerability, and just sometimes it's hard to allow ourselves to be in a space to be vulnerable. But it's just learning that you're going to figure it out in the doing the thing, and I mean that whether it's a physical thing, whether it's a painting thing, or like, if you give yourself the time and space and grace, you'll figure it out. You don't need the lessons. You don't need, I think sometimes we just want to rush ourselves into, I want to know how to do it yesterday.
Oh, I'm so guilty of that. That's why this I think is a challenge for me, because I think I should already know how.
Right? And it's not to say like we can't learn from others, because that can help us, but my point is more like, if we give ourselves the time, we can figure anything out. And if it's important to us, we will, and we do. We absolutely do. Wow, I mean, you can have a coach, and you can follow all the training, and you can do all the things, but if you want to run 100 miles, you got to just get out and do the thing, right? And practice running 100 miles.
Well, every 100 miles is different. Like you can go do one
That looks
and
cool.
go to another one, and it's a very different experience. And why do I know that? Because I've done it. And every time I did it was very different, and depending on the trail and who you're with and how your body responds and feels in those time frames. And yeah,
Yeah,
wow.
that was
I'm
fun.
like, I should.
So when this is dry, I would probably just do embellishments with a white paint marker, or a gel pen, whatever it is you have, or you could just leave it as is. That's totally fine too. But just have fun with it, and you can go down like
Well,
to embellish
shoot.
the lines, or you can make the little spikes or embellish the flowers.
I have embellished my jacket.
Yes, yes, you have. How did you manage?
I'm not sure how I managed, but I did it.
Way
I
to
did
go.
it beautifully.
There you go. So how did this feel today?
It actually felt okay, and does it look like? I think maybe because I had no idea what it was going to look like, and it kind of looks like a cactus, and maybe with some embellishment, it will really look like it. And the little flowers here, which are I'm going to call prickly pear, just reminds me of some delicious prickly pear stuff I have over there on the counter. Um, no, it felt okay. I think because my mind feels more free from the day, and just I wasn't shown a picture beforehand.
Does that really mess you up?
So I think maybe sometimes.
See, and
And
some people
it
find
wasn't
that
too hard to do blobs.
blobs are easy, right?
So I think it's dry enough. I can show
Yeah, I
this one.
think so. But I mean, something that helps me when I'm doing a painting is I'll look at reference pictures, but it has to be, for me, it helps me understand the shadows and the shape. When it's like a sketch drawing, not a finished piece of work, because there's so many colors and so many layers that you lose the basics. So sometimes it can be helpful to just look at a reference photo in black and white, so you can really see the shadows, or just a sketch of a drawing. It's fun. There we go.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad. It kind of looks like a cactus. And when it's dry, I think I'll go in and put some little pokey things on it. And
ooh, I got a solid pokey thing in my hand today. That reminded me of that. So, anyways,
this has been fun. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you. So if you participated with us today, make sure you put it in the art gallery on the Facebook group, The Righteous Rebels. And there, it doesn't have to be this kind of painting. It can be any art or any creative expression that you want to share. And, let us celebrate you and inspire other people in the group, and, take some time to celebrate other people's creative expression.
Yeah. I think right now what I would like to create is dinner.
Yes.
I feel my tummy like really wanting to talk.
Yeah. Hello.
So you also could put in the art gallery a picture of an amazing dinner creation. It really can be anything. So we would love to see it. And my phone is ringing.
All right. So, yeah.
And so was hers. That's funny. Okay, how do you always end? Oh, it's just maybe this one.
Oh. How do I end?
It's not your statement.
Yeah.
Ask what not what.
Don't think of what you can in total distraction mode right now.
Not what creation can do for you, but what
you can do with your creativity.
What you can bring into the world.
What you can bring to life with your creativity.
There you go.
I need to write that down so I remember it. Anyways, have a fantastic night. And thanks for joining us.
Thanks.